Welcome guys. So I was thinking about a new idea for a video and I remembered how much I love, literature, or how much I have passion for literature and literature subjects. When I was a teenager, I didn't really care about literature that much, but after getting into the English department, I discovered a completely different side of it. Because literature is a huge part of our study, and it has, changed my view of English teaching, or even, English learning, or learning languages in general. And this year, one of the main works we have studied was, of course, the play or the tragedy of Hamlet. And if you've ever read Hamlet, you probably know that Hamlet is an incredible overthinker, or person who thinks a lot. And honestly, that's something I can relate to, because overthinking has also been one of my personality traits. Maybe more in the past than now, but I've always had a tendency to think about things again and again. Sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a way that has, consequences or that backfires on me. So let me ask you something. Have you ever thought about something so much that you ended up doing nothing? Because I think that's something we can all relate to. We humans don't always fear making the decision itself. Sometimes we fear all the possible consequences of that decision. For example, imagine you're sitting in a classroom and you have a very difficult exam or test that you have to do. But let's say that you did not study for this exam, so you're nervous about it, and you have to succeed in this exam or in this test. So you start to think, maybe I should cheat. But then you start thinking, should I do it? Should I not? Will I be, exposed? Or should I, just try to look, for the answers of my friends? Should I, try to check my phone? And in the midst of thinking about all these possibilities, you will find that you have wasted time without doing anything. Maybe you wasted half an hour, maybe you wasted like 40 minutes or 50 minutes or even the whole hour. And maybe the exam was, easy. Maybe the questions were not that difficult, but because of your overthinking, you were not able to make any decision. That's one way overthinking can work, and I think Hamlet gives us a much deeper and more dramatic example of this. So, very briefly, what is Hamlet about? Hamlet is a prince whose father has been murdered by Uncle Claudius, who then becomes the king of Denmark. On one night, the ghost of Hamlet's father appears to him and tells him that Claudius was the one who murdered him through poisoning him. And from that moment, Hamlet is faced with one enormous task, which is revenge. He has to avenge his father. It's now his religious duty, or his royal duty, to avenge his father and avenge the kingdom. But Hamlet isn't simply a revenge story where the main character immediately finds the murderer and kills him. Hamlet is a scholar. He's intelligent, philosophical, and extremely analytical. Analytical means a person who analyzes all the situations that falls upon them. So when the ghost tells him that Claudius is responsible for killing him, Hamlet does not simply say, okay, I'll just go and kill him. No, that's not the way that Hamlet thinks. He starts questioning everything. Can I trust the ghost? Is it really my father's spirit? Or is it maybe an evil spirit or a devil in disguise that trying to, persuade me to go for the evil side and to do something so sinful like the act of murder and taking someone else's life? Is Claudius actually guilty? And is this actually a good thing at first? Hamlet doesn't want to commit murder based on something he isn't certain about, which is a good trait. You should not do things, you should not rush to make decisions if you're not, confident, if you don't have full proof, because maybe you will suffer many consequences of rushed decisions. So he investigates. He eventually uses the play The Mousetrap to observe Claudius's reaction and try to confirm the ghost's accusations. This brings me to something important. Thinking is not the problem. In fact, thinking is necessary. In our life, we do not have to rush decisions, because thinking about all the situations, all the possibilities, all the outcomes of our decisions will help us in trying to go for the safest or the most appropriate path. If you rush every decision and act purely on instinct or impulse, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes. We need an active mind. We need to analyze situations, consider consequences, and think before we act. The problem begins when thinking goes to the extreme, when you start overthinking every possibility, every consequence, and every possible path that may or may not actually happen, that you start to overthink about every outcome that might happen to the point where you delay any action at all. Not just the reckless actions, but all actions are delayed until you become certain of all the possibilities. And that's what makes Hamlet so interesting. He spent so much time questioning what he should do and what he should not do, how he should do it, and whether he should do it at all. And while he's hesitating, events around him continue to develop. Polonius dies, Ophelia dies, Laertes becomes, involved and becomes enraged by the death of both his father and his sister. The situation becomes more complicated, and eventually the consequences become much bigger than Hamlet originally thought it would than he have originally imagined. Now, I don't want to say that every death in the play is a Hamlet fault. It's not, because there are many other factors involved, such as, the schemes that Claudius and Polonius kept scheming from behind the scenes, and many other factors. And the situation is much more complicated than this. But Hamlet shows us something important, which is that sometimes a delay in action doesn't make a situation safer. Sometimes it gives the situation more time to become worse. So when you delay an action and keep delaying it and delaying it, let's say the situation is bad, your situation is bad, you are cornered in a situation where you have to make a decision, but you keep delaying it until you're stuck at a point in time where this bad situation became terrible, became worse. That's one of the disadvantages, or one of the bad aspects of overthinking and delaying actions. And I think this is something we can connect to in our personal lives. Maybe you're thinking about starting something new. Maybe you want to learn a new language. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to talk to someone. Maybe you want to make an important decision. There are a lot of possibilities that we think about every day, but eventually we either do one of them or even do none of them at all because of our overthinking and maybe fear. Maybe you fear about making a YouTube channel that you might not succeed. Maybe you hesitate before talking to some stranger because you think that they're going to be mad with you. They're not going to be, cooperative with you. They don't want to talk to you. And maybe you don't want to go in this path or in this major, in this department, because you fear that you're going to fail. So throughout our lives, we have many decisions and we can hesitate about many choices. But if we keep overthinking stuff without actually, trying to take the first step and sometimes, then it's gonna backfire and give us many consequences and many obstacles. Until eventually you've spent so much time thinking about them as something that you never actually did. That's what I think Hamlet can teach us something. We don't need to stop thinking, we need to learn when to stop thinking and when to start acting. So we have to separate between thinking and between acting. Sometimes you need to just take the first step, not to overthink stuff, not to overanalyze each situation. Because sometimes you have plenty of time to think and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have to make a decision with the information you have, knowing that you can never predict every consequence. So if you keep trying to predict all the consequences of your actions, then eventually you won't do any action at all. Because let's face it, we can never ever know every possible consequence to our decisions and actions. So basically, do not overthink all the time. It's something more specific, such as you should think carefully, but don't let thinking replace action. Because sometimes the biggest danger isn't making the wrong decision, but it's spending so much time trying to find the perfect decision that you never make one at all. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's kind of a new idea to make. I wanted to venture into the field or the area of, literature videos, because I love literature the most, novels, poetry, anything like this. So yeah, I'm gonna try to make more videos regarding literature that are also connected to real life problems and real life lessons. That's all. Thanks for watching, and see you later.